These Roblox developers all have games with millions of visits, but then out of nowhere, Roblox deleted their games forever. Today, we'll be looking at 5 Roblox developers who lost everything. Let's start with Pikmin, a Roblox game which has almost 5 million visits before being deleted. This story has an even crazier ending though, so let's break it down. It all starts as a creator, Afrogansao, aka Tom, who joined Roblox all the way back in 2018, 7 years ago. Almost immediately, Tom started creating and testing games. Nothing was being released, but Tom was working on something. A few years later, we got to see a first potential project, that being a web-swinging game, where in the description he explained he was making a Spider-Man game. However, this never ended up releasing. Overall, for the first few years and test after test, nothing took off for Tom, and it seemed like no one cared for his projects or games. However, everything would change in 2022, where he used all his skills to create Pikmin. Pikmin was a Roblox recreation of the already popular Nintendo game, Pikmin. This recreation was very well done and true to the original game, so it started to go viral in the Pikmin community. After years of failure after failure, Tom had a game blowing up, but this wouldn't last for that long. After gaining over 80,000 visits, the game was content deleted and shut down, likely due to a copyright from Nintendo. But it wasn't over for Tom just yet. In fact, he was only getting started. This deletion left him with a tough decision to make. He could move on to avoid further trouble, or take a risk and relaunch a game later with even more stuff added. And well, as you can guess, he chose the second option. A few months later, his Pikmin game was back, and once again it stood out since it was super well done. This game already had hype since players were waiting for it to come back, so it started off well, but this game started to blow up even more than the last one. It was going viral in the Pikmin community, YouTube, and just overall Roblox. It started to gain millions of visits and thousands of active players. Once again, Tom had done it. He lost his last game, but now he had a game way bigger than he could have imagined. But even though he had a viral game, this game was a huge risk, and his decision to relaunch it would end up destroying his entire Roblox career. On May 2nd, 2024, once again the game was shut down and content deleted. Nintendo, the creators of Pikmin, took the game down for copyright, but that's not all. It was all about to get much worse for the owner. Not only was the game deleted, but the owner stated Roblox terminated every single account they have, including their main one, and even permanently IP banned from the entire platform. This means they can never come back and play or develop on Roblox ever again. They're not even allowed to create a new account or anything, and they're blocked forever from using the website. So Tom sacrificed everything relaunching that game, and sadly, he ended up losing everything. A crazy ending, but we're only getting crazier. Because next we're talking about Skibidi Toilet Battle, a game which got over 83 million visits before being deleted off the platform. In this case, it's super weird, so stay tuned. This is the creator, Mad Rabbit, who joined Roblox in 2022, and Mad Rabbit is a crazy developer. Right when they joined, they started creating games and projects, most of which blew up. Mad Rabbit constantly launched viral game after viral game, getting hundreds of millions of visits. However, over time, a lot of the games would die out, but their next project once again would go viral, because it was Skibidi Toilet Battle, a game in which you craft an army to defeat Skibidi Toilet characters. This game would immediately blow up, gaining millions of visits and getting thousands of active players. It would go on to get over 80 million visits. This ended up being one of the biggest games the creators ever made. It seemed to be only getting bigger, but this wouldn't last for much longer. Out of nowhere, in December 2024, the game was content deleted and shut down, along with the group also being deleted. This is where the story gets confusing though, because we don't know the true reason why this happened. The developer made a post saying they're working on bringing the game back, but never really explained what caused it to be deleted, so we'll have to speculate. Overall in Roblox, we've seen a lot of Skibidi Toilet games get taken down due to copyright. A lot of times there's massive ban waves. We've even seen some games get in trouble from fake copyright strikes, so this could be the reason why the game got taken down. No matter what it was though, this game with 80 million visits was gone forever. Eventually they did bring it back with a new name, and I think it's been doing well, but only time will tell if it does as well as the original. As mentioned, even though the creator is successful, this game was huge for the creator, so we have to wait and see how this new game performs. If you thought this story was crazy though, we're only getting crazier as the video goes on. And next we're talking about Garden vs Grave Tycoon, a game which got over 14 million visits before being deleted from the platform. This is the creator, Hushpup, who joined Roblox all the way back in 2007, almost 18 years ago. For the first few years they were quiet, but after 2 years they started launching games, with one of their first being Outbreak Survival, a zombie survival game. The game did decent, getting over 1.5 million visits, and it showed the creator the potential his games had. Around this time he also made Garden vs Grave Tycoon, a tycoon based on the popular game Plants vs Zombies, and over the next few years this game would slowly take off. Even though the game was old, it was still well made, and it maintained popularity for a long time. The developer also went on to make another similar game a few years later, gaining 34 million visits. This developer was on top of the world, several viral games, a bright Roblox future ahead of them, but sadly this will all come to an end. Out of nowhere one day this game was fully deleted. What happened? Well, since this was based on an already existing game, Plants vs Zombies, the creators of Plants vs Zombies took it down for copyright. During this time a ton of other similar games met the same fate. This creator spent years developing on the platform, and now his game was gone, and sadly the games that didn't get taken down have died out. A pretty sad ending, but our next story is even crazier, because we're talking about Clicker Simulator, a game which got over 550 million visits before being deleted from the platform, and the story gets super mysterious, so let's break it down. This is the creator, Active Wizard, who joined Roblox back in 2012. He was quiet for the first few years, but had his first breakthrough in 2014 when he launched Catalog, a similar game to Catalog Heaven at the time, where you can try on anything from the Roblox marketplace. This game would gain over 600,000 visits, and following the success, for the next few years the developer went pretty quiet. But then in 2018 he came out with Block Surfers, a Roblox version of the popular game Subway Surfers, and this game blew up, gaining almost 8 million visits. Unfortunately though, so most of these games would blow up and then slowly die out. So now this creator was on the platform for over 6 years with a few games that were dying. It was looking like it might be over, but then 3 years later in 2021, he came out with Clicker Simulator, a pretty typical simulator game. You click to earn points, buy pets, upgrades, and more. This seemed to be the developer's last chance. His games are dying, so it was all up for Clicker Simulator to perform, and luckily for him, it did. Right away, the game exploded in popularity, gaining thousands of visits, and from this point on, the game just kept growing bigger and bigger. It was viral on YouTube, and just overall, everyone was talking about it. Just a few weeks later, it had 30,000 active players, then almost 100,000, but there's a huge problem. This game was involved in a lot of drama. They apparently stole a lot of stuff from other simulator games and just other games in general. A lot of people also started hating on the game, just calling it a cash grab. The game was blowing up, but the more popularity it got, the more hate it got. Despite this though, the developer kept moving forward, however, not for long. Out of nowhere one day, the developer quit, but not in the way you think. The developer apparently actually ended up selling the game, and ever since this, he's been quiet. He changed his name from Active Wizard to Inactive Wizard, and hasn't launched a project ever since. He isn't even online on Roblox anymore, or Twitter. 2 years since his last tweet and over 10 months since he's been on Roblox. So the creator fully moved on from this project, and seemed to move on past Roblox development, but this isn't why the game got taken down. Let's break down the new owners and what led to this game being deleted. The new owners was Toya Studios. When the new owners came in, the game wasn't in a good state. It was dying out, and there was a ton of problems between the community members and developers, which even led to some developers being fired. There were even some problems with the game being hacked, and overall, hence the game started to leave. People got bored of the updates and stopped enjoying the game, which has made the game keep dying. It went from averaging thousands of players to now a few hundred, and then out of nowhere one day, it was deleted forever. Apparently, the new owner discontinued the project since it was completely dead, but the story gets even weirder, because then Do Big Studios got ownership of the game, but seemingly hasn't done much with it. Here's the crazy part. Do Big Studios literally is part of some of the biggest games on the platform: Fisch, Blade Ball, Dusty Strip, and much more. So it seemed like maybe they brought this game back hoping to revive it, but just nothing came of it. And with other projects taking off, there was just no point in reviving the game. Overall, this is a crazy story. Developers losing everything trying to revive it, several different owners, and in the end, the game just sits here dead with 550 million visits. But our next story gets even crazier, because we're talking about Backrooms Morphs, a game which got over 790 million visits for being deleted forever. And the story gets really weird, so let's break it down. This is the owner Lewis, who joined Roblox in 2022. Literally 2 months later, he created and launched Backrooms Morphs, a game where he plays different NPCs in the backrooms, and the NPCs were a bunch of just random famous characters, such as people from Garten Band and much more. It was a pretty random game, but it worked. In fact, the game literally just exploded when it launched. It was already getting thousands of players and soon started having over 10,000 active players constantly. This game likely blew up because it used a lot of popular trends at the time, and it was easy to understand. But in just 1 year, the game will literally become one of the biggest Roblox games ever made. In just 1 year, it got over 790 million visits. Then it was deleted forever. This game was created on June 9, 2023, and deleted on June 8, 2024. The fact it got that many visits in only 1 year showed that this game could have become one of the biggest Roblox games ever made, but all that was over, and the game could never come back. What happened? Well, the developer never really said anything, but the answer seems pretty obvious. Most of the stuff in the game was copyright, so the developer probably was forced to take the game down. And ever since this, the developer's been quiet, no new projects, and their account isn't active much anymore. This story is super weird and insane. The developer came out of nowhere, launched one of the biggest Roblox games in just a few months of being on the platform, the game got deleted, and they just disappeared. Potentially this is an alt account of someone who wanted to make a quick cash grab and just left. We don't really know, but it's a super bizarre story. If you want to see more crazy Roblox stories just like this, check out this playlist on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next story.